in the right direction. No, it is not. It is a step backward. Because what it is doing is deluding people into believing that happy meat involves a significant welfare benefit. It doesn't. It is the difference, as I've said before, and I will say again, right now, for instance. Is there a difference between being waterboarded on a padded waterboard or on a bare waterboard? And the answer is, yeah, I guess. I guess there is some difference. The padded waterboard is probably a little more comfortable. But does it address the problem of the morality of torture? Is it a response? If somebody said to you, look, I'm really concerned about torture, so I want you to join my campaign for padded waterboards, you'd think they were nuts. Similarly, the Animal Compassion Foundation, all this happy meat stuff, these happy meat labels that all the organizations because all the organizations, or many of the large organizations, are now actually promoting happy meat labels. They have things like Freedom Food in Britain, and they have things like Certified Humane Raised and Handled Here that organizations like HSUS are involved in and promote. These are stamps of approval on corpses, on animal products. These things don't involve significant welfare benefits. If you're a cow, you know what? The difference between being slaughtered in a Temple Grandin slaughterhouse and being slaughtered someplace else is a difference without a hell of a lot of distinction. Think about that. You're going to be slaughtered. So, Temple Grandin slaughterhouses, is that that's the answer? No, it's not the answer. These things involve relatively insignificant welfare benefits, if they involve welfare benefits at all. That's a big question. Okay? But they involve insignificant welfare benefits, in my view at least. And they make people feel more comfortable about continuing to consume animal products. So, it's not really the answer. As a matter of fact, it's part of the problem. And then when you compound it with the fact that you have organizations like PETA giving awards to organizations like Whole Foods for promoting this stuff, what message, people, does that send? What message does it send? You have PETA giving awards to Temple Grandin for designing slaughterhouses. What message does that send? It sends a normative, a moral message that consuming products slaughtered in Temple Grandin approved slaughterhouses, or purchasing rotting corpses from Whole Foods where the cows have applied to be part of the Animal Compassion Foundation, or whatever Whole Foods calls that delusion. You have PETA promoting this stuff. Well, to the average person on the street, they associate PETA with concern about animals. Okay, and so when you have PETA promoting these things, what message gets sent out? The message that gets sent out is the moral message that this stuff is okay. When you boycott Kentucky Fried Chicken until they agree to buy gassed chickens from their producers and phase that in over a period of 3 million years. But, when you announce a boycott of Kentucky Fried Chicken until they purchase gassed chicken rather than stunned chicken from their suppliers, and then they agree to that, and then you call off the boycott, and you praise them for their concern about animal welfare, people, what message does it send out? It sends out the message that this is an all right thing to do. That, you call off the boycott, and that basically means you're saying, giving a green light to going and patronizing these places again. So the biggest impediment that we have toward educating, the biggest obstacle toward effective vegan education are these animal organizations that are promoting happy meat, flexitarianism, this, that, and the other thing. Nonsense. Yes, I understand it's a good business model for them. Encourage people to do very little. And encourage them to believe that the solution to the problem of animal exploitation is go and eat cage-free eggs. Have them do very little, and then pat them on the back so hard that they'll fall over and tell them, oh, you're doing a great thing. This is great. This is terrific. And they'll send you a donation. It's a great business model. It's not particularly good for the animals, though. So I would suggest that, it's ironic. But when we're talking to non-vegans about veganism, biggest obstacle are animal people who are promoting this happy meat stuff. I mean, this morning I saw somebody sent me a link to Compassion in World Farming. That's a British organization, a British welfarist organization, and apparently it looks like there's a National Baking Week in Britain or something. Yes, there's a National Baking Week, and Compassion in World Farming is encouraging people to bake with compassion. In October, this is from the Compassion in World Farming website. In October, it's National Baking Week, encouraging the people of Britain to get baking. But if people are baking, we need to make sure that they are using free-range and high-welfare ingredients. Now, the one thing that we know is that you can make cakes and cupcakes and all sorts of things without any animal products. Really delicious. You can make, I would defy. I was recently treated to some vegan cupcakes that were made by Professor Gary Steiner. We had dinner. We attended an event at his house, and he made these absolutely rocking vegan cupcakes. They were outrageous. And I know you think that I'm partial to sweets, given this obsession I have developed with the frozen coconut confection, but I'm actually not very much of a sweet eater at all. And when we were at Gary's house, 2 cupcakes, I ate 2, which is probably 2 more than I have eaten in the past 3 years. I'm not a big eater of that stuff. And they were absolutely delicious. And perhaps he can post his recipe on his website, because they were just incredible. But in any event, you can make all that stuff without animal products. Now, I understand Compassion in World Farming is a welfarist organization. They make that very clear. But where there are alternatives that don't involve any violence, where you can make a product where nobody can tell the difference. I want to make it clear. If you could tell a difference, that wouldn't matter. My view is you should never eat animal products under any circumstance. But where you have an opportunity to say to people, you don't need to use any animal products in this, why not at least do that? Why encourage people affirmatively to use animal products? This is the problem. You have all of these, quote, animal groups, end quote, which are all businesses. These are all businesses. And you've got them promoting happy meat. You've got them promoting happy eggs. You've got them promoting happy milk and all sorts of happy torture. That's the problem. This then becomes the background noise of the society in terms of people saying, well, look, why should I think about veganism when I have animal people telling me I can do a lot less and discharge my moral obligations to animals? That's a real problem, people. That's a really serious problem. Okay, well, let me talk about my 5 principles. Many years ago, when I was a teenager, think about this, days before computers. Nobody even knew what a computer was back then, I don't think. I never heard about computers until I was much older. And we didn't have cell phones. And it was a different world in a lot of ways. And we only had 3 channels of television, actually. But in any event, we had a book we had to read called The Diary of Anne Frank. Now, I suspect that most of you have read that book. If you haven't, do not let another day go by without reading that book. It's one of the most important books written in the 20th century. It's just a magnificent statement of the irrepressibility of love and of the human spirit. It's a marvelous book written by a teenage woman who is hiding out from the Nazis and is eventually found by the Nazis and is killed in a concentration camp. And this woman, who was, when killed, a teenager, she may have been young physically, but she had the spiritual maturity of a very, very old soul. And the book, The Diary of Anne Frank, is profound in so many ways I can't begin to express it. It's a marvelous book. If you haven't read it, you must read it. It's just a marvelous book. And